Turtle power. Hey there, welcome back for part 2 of a 3-part series of epic finds. Now last week I talked about an Optimus Prime cookie jar from 1985 that I found for $14.95 that wound up having an estimated value of somewhere between $250 and $300, which blew my mind. Now how can I top that? Well, so I'm not going to try to top it. I'm going to show you something that's equally as impressive, so stick around. So the item in question today is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure, and I know you probably already picked up on that with the intro, the van, and the fact that last week I said the other two items were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles related and G.I. Joe related. Well, this isn't the G.I. Joe one, this is the Ninja Turtles one. And this is one that I never thought that I'd find in the wild. And I've been hunting, I've been looking for years. I've got totes full of turtles that I've found in garages and basements, at flea markets, at yard sales, thrift stores, and anywhere else. I found some good ones. I haven't found any of the Grail of the Grails, you know, like the Hot Spot or Shogun versions. But I did find one recently that I almost skipped past it. So one of the spots that I frequent, I saw that they had, you know, a sizable collection of Ninja Turtles come in. Likely somebody got rid of their collection, and most of these turtles are naked. They have no accessories, and most of them were priced, if not all of them, I think, were priced at like $11.95, which is pretty high for your basic turtle. And I kept feeling like there was something in there. I wasn't going to give up, and I dug through. They probably had 40 or 50 turtles on hand. And then I found one sitting at the bottom, and like I said, I almost passed him up, and it was an undercover Leonardo. Now, I know that when most people think of undercover Ninja Turtles, they think of the Donnie from 1990, I believe. And he comes with a hard trench coat, a pistol accessory with the bang flag, a mask, a briefcase with a black slice of pizza in it. And he's a cool figure, don't get me wrong, but he is nowhere near being anything close to a Grail. So I got to looking at it, and I picked it up. And after further inspection, I realized it was what I thought it was. And that's this guy right here. Anybody that collects Ninja Turtles probably already knows what this is, knows who it is. Now, again, he's naked, no accessories, no nothing, but this guy normally comes with a cloth trench coat. Now, in 1994, I believe, they did a set of undercover turtles for all 4 turtles. And the thing was, is they all came with the little fedora hat, they all came with a cloth trench coat and a handful of accessories. Don't ask me what those accessories are, because I can't tell you. And they were super scarce. These things are ridiculously priced right now. This guy had some paint rubs on his chest and on his back that I took a melamine sponge. By the way, any melamine sponge is just as good as a magic eraser in my opinion. You can get them a lot cheaper by not buying a name brand sponge. Melamine sponge is all you need, trust me on that. And he cleaned up quite nicely. After a little bit of touch up with the melamine sponge, I gave him a bath and some Dawn dish soap and some warm water, knocked the dust off, and he turned out pretty good. Now, the cool thing about this guy, yes, he's naked, but he still has loads of value in this condition. So I did some research, and I was looking up, you know, some comps for sold listings to kind of, you know, I'm gauging a value of this. Turtles aren't my main suit. I do have like the basic set of turtles, like the first 10 run, the party wagon. I've got some of the NECA turtles, which you guys probably remember me finding from a previous video. And I also have some full set of turtles from the early 2000s. With that said, I'm good on turtles. I want something to represent the collection, to represent the line. Anything else is fair game for me to sell, for me to trade. And speaking of trades, I've already got this guy taken care of. So, I deal a lot with a gentleman that owns Yellow Rose Tattoo out in Kernersville, North Carolina by the name of John Brim. And yes, with his permission, he allowed me to discuss our agreement here. So, as you see, I've got several tattoos. You've probably seen in other videos. And the thing is I haven't paid for any but one of them because I do a lot of trading. In this world, the barter system works wonders because I can literally turn $20 into $400 with a few different steps Doesn't always happen like that. I'm not trying to make it sound overly easy, because it's not. It takes some finesse and it takes some work. But to turn $20 into $300, $400 is definitely possible. So he knows what I do. There's no hiding. There's no shame in my game. There's no, smoke and mirrors BS involved. I bought this guy for $11.95. Now, in this condition, it's hard to gauge really a value. So what I did is I looked at the last completed listing of the mint on card version. And my lord, it went for way more than I'd anticipated. I think it sold for somewhere around $2,700 and some change. That's absurd. Now, I mean, if the figure demands it, it demands it. What can I say? In this condition, there were only 2 examples that I could really gauge value from, and that was an undercover Donnie, similar setup, figure only, no accessories, no trench coat, some paint rubs, etc., etc., and they had them listed for $400. So my guess, and I'll talk to him, is we both came to the conclusion that the ballpark is somewhere between $250 and $400, akin to that Optimus Prime cookie jar, with $300 being kind of its top. This does have a potential higher value ceiling. It's really hard to gauge stuff like this because it really depends on what the market is calling for. If there's no other examples up for sale, who knows what the value can go for, especially if you were to put it up for auction. I'm not a brave person. I don't like auctions. I like posting stuff for listed, set in stone prices. Sometimes I'll do, make me an offer, and I'll let things go. I like also trading, obviously. With this guy, with the only 2 examples being Donatello and not Leonardo, can make a huge difference. Why? There were 4 turtles made this way. Let's say you have 2 guys that have Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, and they just need a Leonardo to finish their collection. Well, Leonardo, in that situation, a much higher value to that person or to those buyers than the Donatello. Now, on the flip side, if Donatello is the one that everybody's looking for, Donatello is going to have more value. But with the other 2 examples being currently active, and both of them Donatello, tells me that that's not the case. With that said, there were no other versions that I found currently for sale in the areas that I checked. Again, that brings me back to me discussing it with John, that we estimated the value at least $250, which works for me. So my wife's birthday's coming up. I talked about the previous deaths in the family. I know my last 2 videos literally discussed that, but those were 2 different deaths. It's been a crazy effing year in the last 12 months. She wants to get a tattoo that commemorates her mom, her biological mother that passed in November, and her non-biological father who passed at the end of January. Yes, I said non-biological. He was the man that raised her from 4 years old until she moved out with me, and we got our first apartment to rent back in 1999, I think it was. So for the first 20 plus years of her life, he was her father. He passed away. Tragic. We're trying to make the best of it. The whole thing with the garage I talked about last video, that's from all that. Anyway, so I talked to John. I said, hey, you saw that turtle that I found? He goes, yeah, I did. I said, would you by chance be interested? He said, yes, I actually would, but I didn't want to hound you about it because I know you just got it, didn't know if you wanted to keep it. So I explained what was going on. I've got my turtle collection pretty complete. I'm not a completionist. I like representation. That's about it. And he said, yeah, he's down to do a trade. So I talked to him, and we agreed to do a nice, decent tattoo for my wife to commemorate her biological mom's death and her non-biological father's death that happened this last year. So it worked out wonderfully. Again, his work is top-notch. He's done, I've been there, I've been going there for years now. Solid place, solid guy. Everybody that's there, Mike and Aaron, both top-notch tattoo artists. So if you're ever in the area, Kernersville especially, check out Yellow Rose Tattoo. I promise you this is not a sponsored video. So going back to this turtle. Again, I never thought that I'd be holding one of these in my hand. But again, with a lot of this stuff, I never thought I'd be holding it in my hand, but here we are. Now, for me to have found those 2 items within roughly 2 weeks apart of one another is just insane. But the fact that I didn't just find those 2 items, I found a 3rd item which kind of set this whole thing off, and that is a G.I. Joe figure. Make sure you follow up for part 3 of this 3-part series on the epic finds that I've found in the last 30 days. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. You're still here? What are you doing? Like my video, subscribe to my channel, and help this poor toy collector achieve his dream of not being such a poor toy collector. Thanks.